One last check.
Yes, checking the microphone. Checking 1, 2.
Okay, yeah, there's some background noise. Not sure if it's a fan or AC. But anyway, we are live. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to the show, Token Metrics Live, as usual. We typically have this show around 6 p.m. Eastern time or so, give or take. We have quite the show for everybody. We'll be going through, sharing our thoughts on Bitcoin. We'll be giving a Bitcoin analysis, Ethereum analysis, covering XRP and your favorite altcoins. So stay tuned for the AMA. We'll be taking your questions. This is going out to Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook. Also gets turned into a podcast. Just go to tokenmetrics.com/podcast and subscribe. Get your daily dose of Token Metrics on the go as you're working out, as you're on your morning commute. Also be sure to join our newsletter, tokenmetrics.com/newsletter. And most important of all, be sure to join and subscribe to Token Metrics. What is Token Metrics? For those who are brand new, Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency research platform that gives you artificial intelligence and data-driven analysis with your insights to make you a much smarter investor and trader. We have customers all over the world. We've been growing so fast. With that being said, let's go into the show. Bill, how are you?
Ian, good afternoon. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, awesome. Okay, all right. Let's do quick shout outs. As you see here, I'm in the process of building up the studio. We have a shout out to Jeremy Gardner from Made Man. He actually gave me a Made Man kit. I think it fits the set. And then first of all, thank you to our crypto family for the support. And we have a Moon Man here, right? Magical Moon Man. Maybe he can, not sure if you guys can see that. Maybe the lighting is not bright enough. Is that better? So we have an astronaut here meditating on the moon as I'm trying to fix the light here. So we'll have him here for good luck. All right, so anyway, let's see who was first on the stream. All right, Amy on Twitter. Amy was first. Welcome to the show. Then first on YouTube was Duracon. Duracon, what's up? BTC Motivation. What's up? Why Dazavani, Alpha Diallo, great to see you here. Simon, Rolf Copter. When Bill wears a hoodie, we're in a bull run. Yes, maybe we are. Actually, yeah, both of us are wearing hoodies. Yeah, we didn't plan that. Okay, what's up, Crypto Gamer? Nate Smith, Skylar Gray, sorry. Zenrosi. Chester, what's up? Menticode. Yes, Menticode. So let me open that up. So for those who want to submit any questions for Menti, please go to, let me pull this up here on the screen. Yes, so go to menti.com, MENTI.com, use the code 4345622. That's 4345622, and submit your questions. Also, be sure to follow us on social media if you're not following us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the podcast, LinkedIn, YouTube. All right. And be sure to smash the like buttons and tell your friends we're live. We'll be starting the show shortly. Okay, so let me go through as usual. This is not financial advice. We're just giving you our analysis and opinion and commentary on the market. Always do your own research and be sure to leverage Token Metrics to help you with your research. Okay, all right. So as we mentioned on the agenda, we'll be going through with a market update from Bill. We'll do crypto showdown. We'll do question of the day, and then we'll do crypto therapy, taking your questions. And that's pretty much it. So without further ado, I think let's hop into one of the best parts of the show. Okay. Just give me 1 second here. Okay, take it away, Bill.
Okay, coming up. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Token Metrics Market Update. Now, we get to begin with the fun stuff. The word in legacy finance is capitulation. This is where people who have been negative on a market reverse themselves. Now, For anybody who's been in crypto, you'll be familiar with, FUD appearing at the top of rallies, sometimes related to China, right? Like China's going to ban Bitcoin, or China thinks it's no good, or et cetera, right? So we have two pieces of capitulation here that I think are important. On the left, we've got Chinese state television. Let me say that again. State television, according to this person, cited that Bitcoin is actually maybe a little better than gold, and the rise in Bitcoin is actually hurting physical gold. Okay. So rather than having FUD coming out of China, we're having Bitcoin positive news come out. And I think that's an underrated piece of news. Now, on the right, we've got a guy, Ray Dalio, from the biggest hedge fund, Bridgewater, right? He's a flexible thinker, okay? And he's turning himself around. Now, when a guy like this turns himself around with 2 or 3 weeks left to go in the year, it matters. And here's why. One, he's got to have Bitcoin on his books, all right? But that may not be the biggest development, all right? I think one of the reasons why I decided to don the hoodie is that it may be the start of altcoin season when a guy this big has to get in, right? Because now there's insurance companies, Michael Saylor, all right? 15 billion worth of cryptos now under management, right? And a guy like Dalio may have to come in and they may have to start buying other coins, particularly Ethereum. So huge players have piled in. And on the right, we've got this guy, Saylor. This guy borrows $440 million, basically at zero interest, and then releases a statement quoted below that he's going to put in Bitcoin, right? Now, what's really funny is in the equities world, because MicroStrategy is, after all, a software company, analysts are downgrading the stock. They're downgrading MicroStrategy stock, saying Saylor is too focused on crypto. I said, well, that's fascinating. Companies don't get upgraded or downgraded because they move from dollars or euro or the yen or even gold. So isn't it funny that the banks, from long crypto, short the banks fame, the banks are telling people to get off the MicroStrategy bandwagon, when if you look at the chart on the right, there was a big gap up in MicroStrategy stock, came back down, fill the gap, and there's a candlestick there indicating that buyers showed up. All right. There's this whole idea, okay, particularly since, we've gotten inquiries from the media and they're asking us, well, hey, how come every time it goes down to, just below 18,000, Bitcoin pops right back up again? Well, folks, it's very simple. You have all these huge players taking Bitcoin away from market makers, right? So for every buyer, there's a seller. For every long, there's a short. So these guys who take all this Bitcoin out of the market maker has to turn around and buy it back. So every time it goes down, anybody who was, required to sell at 19 is going to be a very enthusiastic buyer at 18. That's why things come back quickly. Now, let's get to something a little bit more serious. Frequently on the show, there's always an edgy, outside the box idea. Because good research requires imagination, we appreciate you tuning in and we want to give you the best. We want you to know things before you read about it in the newspaper. Now, a couple things to note. One, the virus has sort of dropped to zero in Australia. Now, that's great for our friends down under, but how did they do that? How did they get that done? Well, they had a very, very strict lockdown, right? I mean, if you got close to somebody at the beach, you were greeted by a police officer. It was extremely medieval. We had a show guest on from Australia once, and it was breathtaking to hear him tell stories about how strictly they locked down Australia. Okay. So I guess the good news is that, the Sydney Opera House opened and they had 40,000 people there. So what does this mean for crypto? Well, the COVID vaccine in the United States is not going to be available for the general public until April at the earliest, because they got to do all the healthcare workers and all the elderly. Now, we have a new administration coming in with United States virus numbers just spiraling higher. Here's a question. What happens if Joe Biden has to shut down America, not for 4 weeks, but for 4 months? What happens if he has to shut the economy down until the vaccine is available for the public to stop the stress in the hospital system? I don't think anyone is asking that question at this point. But I think you have to, because there's a ton of evidence it worked in Australia. And there's this tagline like they followed the science. Well, folks, that's not just rhetoric anymore. They've got evidence. And sadly, social disorder has started in Washington, D.C. All right. Counter protesters and protesters are fighting each other on the streets with people getting hurt. That's what's happening now at the holiday season. Can you imagine what it looks like after 4 weeks or 4 months? So why am I telling you all this? Because, folks, if I know this and you know this, the Fed and the ECB know this. And they are going to have to push money into the system with reckless abandon to try to stabilize the economy, maintain optics in financial markets, and make sure that large corporations and even small businesses don't go bankrupt. And this is a huge boom to crypto, because crypto is the future of money. And in sum, closing America down and having the Fed just helicopter money is not only, it's not a health issue. The government may consider it a national security issue. Okay. So if there's talk of a much longer lockdown, crypto goes up. All right. And I think now is the time to be buying crypto, anticipating these events going forward. Now, let's take a look at Bitcoin market cap on a weekly basis. So this is Bitcoin market cap, keep in mind. So it's total number of coins times price. So obviously that's going to be a little bit higher than in 2017 because there's more Bitcoin has been mined since then. And what you'll see on the chart where the blue arrow is naturally Bitcoin and Bitcoin market cap come down right to what was the old 2017 high. And then Bitcoin, of course, bounces right back up again. Okay. Not rocket science, classic technical analysis. Okay. People want Bitcoin, and here's evidence of it beyond, the stuff I showed you on MicroStrategy. Okay. Now, this is a futures contract. This is BitMEX, just showing you like a tactical picture. So we're here in mid-December, and right here we see stochastics turning up. Okay. So everyone out there who maybe missed it at 18K and is like, oh God, I missed it. Because I know that's what you're thinking. I know it, right? That's why I put the hoodie on, to get everyone's attention. So it's not too early. It's not too late. Stochastics are just starting to turn up, and this move may be just starting. Ethereum market cap. Okay. Folks, again, Ethereum market cap goes down, hits a major point from back in 2018. That's the blue arrow. Okay. And this is a weekly chart, right? So this analysis is going to have some shelf life. So when you see ETH market cap holding, near this level around, I believe it's 661 billion. Okay. ETH is set up to attack its high, both in market cap and in price. Now let's go to price. When you see ETH have a weekly close above 600, it's very simple. There's no resistance until 1300. That's why there's been such a battle at 600, in my opinion. Okay, now on this topic of I missed it, or, I didn't get it on the dip. So let's look at Altcoin Market Cap and recap what has happened in the last couple days. Alts flush lower, all of them, right? Small ones, big ones, Dash, all of them. And what alts did was they blew through their 21-day moving average, right? And in classic fashion, this is very, very typical from equities. They flush everybody lower, everyone gets out, and then as it turns, if the instrument in question, which here is Altcoin Market Cap, can climb above its 21-day moving average, it could start a bullish cascade, all right, where it breaks, 207, it breaks 215 billion, and then it goes to say 287. So altcoins are set up for strength breeds strength, okay? And I know that you may have felt like you missed it, but you haven't. In fact, I would argue in alts, it hasn't even started. Chainlink, the Link Marines hold $12. I looked at this and I said, I wonder if this is people giving up in Chainlink. If people just finally said, I can't do it anymore. And as it turns out, that's exactly what happened. And the Link Marines saved it at 12. Okay. Now, if people really did give up in Chainlink, then Chainlink should start leading the market and moving towards 20. I think one of the reasons why Chainlink was stuck is that people were actually, holding on to their longs, and you didn't see that frustrated give up trade, which we've talked about on the show before. So in Chainlink, I think, some traders gave up. The Link Marines were there at 12. I'll bet the Chainlink people themselves were there at 12. And it's set to go higher. Now, drum roll, right? XRP. Everyone said that when they did this airdrop, that XRP was going to totally crash. And really, technically, XRP has just retested this 50 cents to 53 cents level that was very, very important back in September of 2018 and in the summer of 2019. So there was no XRP crash. If anything, XRP went to retest a resistance line that now has become support. So the longer XRP sits above 50 cents, the more likely it is that it turns around and goes to 80. I continue to believe XRP is a part of the future of money. I don't think it's a coin that people can disregard or frankly make fun of anymore. Okay. It's a fast blockchain network. Okay. It's money, and it's backed by a corporation that has relationships in the financial system. Stellar, a somewhat similar story, all right, in terms of breakout and retest, all right. Stellar makes a teacup and handle formation. The yellow section is the teacup, and the handle is just that part that we saw recently over the last, say, 10 weeks. Again, this is a weekly chart. So there's a huge breakout to the upside, and then it comes down, retests a very important level from 2019 and bounces. Now, this is also super important because you can't believe how many altcoins are out there. UMA, okay, Band. We published like 15 of these charts. This formation is everywhere in altcoins. So the fact that Stellar broke out, came back, and held, to me, this is sending a huge bullish signal across the crypto market. Let's look at another frustrating trade, Dash, okay? I think this is a part of the future of money. This chart is one of the reasons why. It's got what's called a huge diamond formation, which can create very powerful moves. All right. And what Dash has done is it broke out. It made me think it was going to 200. And then what did it do? It comes down, flushes everybody out. But really, all that's happened is that it tests 92, the top of the diamond line. Okay. So by flushing lower the way it did, okay, Dash just did a simple retest of the top of a very important formation. And at the end of the day, I think Dash can go to 200, right? It's probably going to take 1 or 2 days to build up the steam, but I think this is a huge move coming. Okay. Speaking of huge moves, okay, Litecoin. All right, Litecoin. I'm just not going to shut up about Litecoin. I swear. This chart shows that if Litecoin can achieve a weekly close above 80, okay, so this is the fourth week of the battle at 80 in Litecoin. If Litecoin can take out 80, I don't see any diagonal point that can stop Litecoin, right? It's on PayPal. It's optics. It looks like cheap, fast Bitcoin. So if everything is breaking out, if alt market cap, like we talked about earlier, is going to explode, I don't see any reason why Litecoin can't go from 80 to 220. Now, again, let me rein myself in and say, okay, maybe Litecoin is just meant to sit at 80. Maybe that's just where it belongs. I don't think so, but I don't see this falling apart with Bitcoin being purchased by all the big players, ETH having the potential to double, people buying the dip in Ripple. I think there's big upside here. Now let's talk DeFi. All right, Yearn. These lines I've got on the chart, it's a parallel channel. So both of those upward sloping lines are parallel. And it looks like Yearn, it's been winding it up, winding it up, winding it up. It goes down, it hits the 38% retracement of its larger move up. More importantly, Yearn showed up before this rally in a lot of our day trading portfolios. This was in the all exchange portfolio along with Uniswap and I believe Aave for 4 or 5 days. Okay. And you got 4K in price appreciation off that. And I think this is a hodl out to 36K. All right. And if it dips, I think it's probably going to be limited to just 26K on the dip. So I think there's 10K in upside in Yearn. Okay. Uni. Now, I have not seen this in quite some time. Everybody may know or have heard of a head and shoulders top pattern. Okay. In essence, a head and shoulders top is 3 attempts by a market to go higher. When the third attempt fails, okay, a substantial decline follows. Now, when the head and shoulders is triggered, sometimes in equities, you make the most money you make the most money when the pattern gets triggered, the read becomes bearish, and then the market suddenly reverses and effectively breaks the pattern or unwinds the bearish read. And this is what looks like it happened in Uni. It looks like they ran all the stops. They pushed everybody out when it went through 3.25. It went down to 3. They push everyone out and then they rally. And I think if Uni is above 329, it's going to go to 5. Okay. And I think you're going to have to wait to see if Uni can actually make a couple daily closes above that level at 329. But let's face it, folks, Yearn's not going up 10K and Uni's sitting at 3.5. All right. So DeFi is ready to go. And again, back to the earlier slides, lockdowns, social disorder, the Fed pushing money into the system, that coincided with DeFi 1.0. So DeFi 2.0 may just be starting. Now, I like to throw this in, Kusama. Okay, I call this working Polkadot. It's a clone. It's the Litecoin of DeFi. People wanted this when it went down, right? This went to 64 and it came back to a support point at 44 on a trend line and bounced. So if they're looking for Kusama, if they're looking for Litecoin, speculative juices in crypto, they're out there. And the dip buyers and the smart money may be looking out, say 4 or 5 months to April and going, yeah, I want this. Okay. Tezos shows up in some of our portfolios, like a 6 to 7% allocation. Dip buyers have showed up. And again, this is a classic token metric story. Where do I get these ideas from? Which chart do I know what to look at? Okay. XRP showed up in the Coinbase day trading portfolio. Tezos showed up in the all exchanges day trading portfolio. And this structure, this stop, start, or an Elliott wave, a series of ones and twos, means that you could have buyers in Tezos, which again that's a big altcoin. So there's a lot of indications that the big coins want to take off. Now, small coins, let's talk about it. Folks, I'm going to go out on a limb. I think VeChain, if there's a catalyst, I just think this wave count is so favorable that VeChain could go up a lot. Like, believe it or not, to me, this could be a moon candidate if there's a news item. Because this stop-start process that VeChain does, and given that it's not a real high-cap coin, right? And if the DeFi revolution is going to take off, as I recall, VeChain was one of the leaders on the first DeFi run. Like, it was one of the first coins to move. So I'm going to go back and play it again here. I'm going to say I like VeChain. All right. That's the market update. Ian, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Bill. That was a great update. So let's take some comments here from people. If you like that market update, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, share this video with the crypto family. David says, is a head and shoulders better than a cup and handle?
A head and shoulders bottom and a cup and handle are similar. Cup and handle can be better because it's actually much more rare and more old school.
All right. Then Awoken says Dash is real nice. BTC's little brother. Then Seaball says, I just want XRP to get back above 57 cents. And then LL says 60 cents and I'll be happy. Crypto Air CK says, I like Dash better than Litecoin. All right. So tell us what you think about the market update down below. Somebody says, looking to buy Ethereum. Is this a good entry point? We can't tell you what to do per se, but I think as Bill mentioned, Ethereum is looking very, very bullish at around 600. And we think it can possibly go all the way back to all-time high and above. Bill?
All right, so this is a very important question because people are new to crypto, right? They get it, they arrive, and then they're like, okay, what do I do now? I would say if I did not have a position and I needed to do something, I would say put small amounts of capital into things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the larger coins. It'll help you laser focus on the price action in that coin. And it'll give you a level of gratification if it breaks out. But if you put a small enough amount in, you can experience what it's like to have crypto go against you. You know, everyone says, I don't mind losing $500 until they've lost $500 on their screen. So getting involved in Ethereum when it's below 600 is a good way to test your risk tolerance and help you focus on the price so that if there is a breakout, you'll have more confidence to be able to jump in and take advantage. Because as we say on the show, you have to earn the right to take risk, right? You want to buy something and then have it go your way. And then after it goes your way, then you want to add to your position. You just don't want to put the rent money in right away. So an important word there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you like those market updates, be sure to subscribe to tokenmetrics.com. Go there. We have discounted trials. You can subscribe for 1 week trial for $2 or $5 for the investor plan or the professional plan. And then I would say probably over half of our customers join the annual plan, because if you join the annual plan, you get 3 months free. So definitely be sure to take advantage of that. Thank you to everybody who joined during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. We had our best week ever, and to show thank you, we have lots of things coming up. We're actually thinking of doing a customer webinar this month to all the new customers to welcome them on board. So stay tuned for that. Probably will be maybe near Christmas. And then for those of you who still haven't had the chance to subscribe yet, don't worry. We feel very, what's the word? We're in the holiday spirit mood, right? So happy Hanukkah to anybody out there who's doing Hanukkah. Happy holidays. We have Christmas coming up. We have New Year's coming up. So we plan to have some new promotions between Christmas and New Year's, basically our 2020 promotion. So stay tuned. It won't be quite as good as the Black Friday, Cyber Monday promotion, but for those people who maybe missed the boat, don't worry, we'll give you something, right? So be sure to check us out. Okay, quick question here. Somebody's asking about my antenna, Crypto Dad. Okay, so Crypto Dad says, Ian, did you get a new antenna for your Helium hotspot? Yes and no. So for those who don't know, so actually this is my hotspot here. Let me see if I can. So that's the hotspot. So I got a new antenna, but it's not new because I got this early in the year. For those who don't know, I moved from DC to Austin. One of the main reasons is Austin is one of the better regions for Helium hotspots, because when Helium launched, they first launched in San Francisco and Austin and New York. So those 3 cities are the best, right? So I'm already making a lot more money here than I was in DC, because in DC I was basically living 20 minutes outside of DC in the suburbs, basically in the middle of nowhere. There weren't that many hotspots nearby. Now I'm about 10 minutes from downtown Austin, so a lot closer. So I got that from Amazon. This is, I think, almost twice as good as the stock antenna that you get, but it's basically the same size, just thicker and fatter. Now, this is the one I did buy. Let me hopefully add it. This is the big kahuna. If you guys can see this. So I had this at home in Maryland, basically, and it was not working because I was just so far away. But this is supposed to reach up to, I think, 5 to 7 miles. But the downside is I broke it during the process of moving. So I'm gonna have to buy a new one. I think either I broke the connector or the other adapter that goes to the base. But now that we're here, Bear Metro says, nice lightsaber. Thank you. Let me just show you guys something real quick. Okay, we're doing a quick Helium class here. So what I did is I went to Amazon. This was months back. I bought basically a stainless steel metal dishpan. Then I bought an adapter. This is I forget what it's called, but basically this is the magnet, right? So it just sticks to it, right? And then this lets you get the antenna and basically make it stand, right? And then you plug this wire into the hotspot, right? So I was very excited to test this out here in Austin, but one of the things here was very delicate and broke, so I have to buy a new one. But the dishpan I got on Amazon, the adapter I got on Amazon. This I did not get on Amazon. The ones on Amazon, one is good. Like this was very tough to get because what you have to do is you have to find one that's called an SMA. All this is in the Helium forum. If you go on the forum or the Slack or Telegram group, they'll basically help you out. And we've covered some videos on this in the past. But basically what I had to do is I had to buy, this is an OMB 915 megahertz antenna. Then I had to buy an adapter to it because I couldn't get one that has the long range on Amazon. So I got a different type of antenna. But basically the antenna you want to have, the frequency has to be between 915 megahertz or so. I think 915 to maybe 936. Then you can buy almost any adapter to this and then hook this up to this other adapter and then just plug this into your hotspot, right? So this is what I plan to test out in the next, basically this month. So I'll let you guys know how things are going. But currently right now with Helium, I think I'm earning about 10 to 20 HNT a day. So depending on the price, let me see what the price is. I guess maybe that's a nice segue to Bill to do TA on Helium network. All right. And for those who are wondering, yes, Helium is a project I'm still bullish on, especially now that they reduced their max supply, because before they had no max supply. So with the Helium improvement proposal, it added a max supply similar to Bitcoin, right? So it's definitely one of the projects I'm very, very bullish on. And to me, it's a long-term investment. I just plug it in, mine, and I'm not even looking at the price. Like I don't even know what the price is. I think last time I checked, it was like $1.80. I think somebody told me, right? But to me, it's passive income. It's kind of like mining Bitcoin in the early days. You just plug it in, walk away, come back 5 years later, and crypto retirement. That's basically the mindset I have.
Okay, here it comes.
Okay, and Florian says, does the network work in Europe? Yes, so they launched in Europe a few months back, and they're launching in Asia next year.
Okay, oh, wow. So this is Helium, but this is an intraday chart. So this is 89 minutes, okay? Just an intraday chart. Now, I would describe this as what you would call like a rounding bottom. I don't know if it's teacup and handle. I do know this, okay? This type of price action, okay, that's people giving up, okay? It's probably tough to see. But this right here, that's giving up hard. Like that's despair. Oh, which is followed by a huge green candle, which is followed by dip buyers piling in right here. Okay. And Ian just gave you the hint, right? I haven't looked at it in a while. It looks like everybody decided to turn around and give up, and now it's going to turn and go the other way. So, I mean, how high can this go? You know, if you go to like, say, a 4-hour chart, okay, why can't it go back to where everyone started to give up here at $1.60? Right? That's where the start of the give up trade occurred. So Helium has got a lot of upside.
All right. And I think for those, I think because of the lack of liquidity, you definitely want to look at it as a long-term investment, right? So I think the safest move is to just mine it, right? So the device cost about $400. I bought it early when it was about 500. I recouped my investment in less than 6 months. So everything else has been basically just house money, basically just gravy. But definitely tell us what you think about Helium down below. Okay. All right. I think let's hop into the show. Thank you, everybody. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and share this live stream with your friends. Let's get to Crypto Showdown. All right, so go to menti.com, menti.com, and use the code 4345622, 4345622. It's time for Crypto Showdown. Which crypto do you think will do best in 2021? Which cryptocurrency do you believe will have the best year in 2021? So we have two options. These are two cryptocurrencies that have been trending on tokenmetrics.com based on looking at the analytics. So we thought it would be nice to put them here on Crypto Showdown so our team can do analysis on them. So first up, we have Aave, followed by Uniswap. Uniswap is a new project. There's been lots of interest. It was one of the most viewed projects on tokenmetrics.com. Bill, what does the TA tell you?
Coming up.
All right. And I'll pull them up here on Tokenmetrics as well. Okay,
so NU. I've been tracking this. I think it's really interesting. I'm looking at it on Coinbase for a reason, right? I want to see if it holds the 62% retracement level. Seems in crypto that's sort of like the big number, right? Now, when it first came out, it kind of got crushed through the 62% level. That's about 22 cents. But I've noticed that, I don't know, over the last, say, couple hours, again, this is Sunday, the 13th of December, that NU is kind of hanging around this 22 cent area. Now, when I look at this, I'm like, well, there's a lot of people interested in it. And it's done sort of that classic, all the way up, all the way back down again. It looks a lot like, like DeFi futures. Okay. So I don't doubt that this can go materially higher. I mean, if there's a fundamental case for this, there's definitely a technical case for it. All right. Let me get Aave up. It's really hard to say anything bad about Aave because it's going to be so critical to DeFi 2.0, right? I mean, Aave might be DeFi 2.0, honestly. All right, coming up here, it's actually a very simple chart. Okay, so this is the Aave futures contract, right? And, it's just a daily chart. And what has Aave done? It breaks out right here. So it does this huge breakout, and then it does this gigantic consolidation, this volatile consolidation between 80 and 90 for days. Then it shakes everyone out and runs all the stops and hits 70 something, only to come straight back above 80 right here today. This is classic, right? It's crypto is now acting the way equities acted from 2010 and 2011. So who should win Crypto Showdown? Aave is a type of play that people are going to pour into for DeFi 2.0. So this is a blue chip play. NU, it's a little bit like comparing apples to oranges. Probably on a percentage gain basis, right? I mean, if NU goes from 22 cents to $1, obviously that's a big percentage gain relative to what Aave could do. Right. But then again, no one's saying Aave can't go to 200. If Litecoin can go to 200, so can Aave. I know that's not exactly, engineering calculus, but when you have a situation where you get these flushes and people get discouraged, right? Because remember, bull markets are hard. This is a classic example, right? It's a good coin. People want to own it. They bought the dip, they bought it at 85 and then they had to look at it go to 72. And they either had to just live with the pain of watching it, or some people probably gave up. I'm guessing a lot of people gave up because the ensuing reversal is really sharp. So bullish on both ends, NU the dark horse.
All right, thank you, Bill. So let's also pull up those two here on Token Metrics, because just kind of want to show people how you could possibly use Token Metrics. So since we have lots of new customers, this has been a question we've been getting lots on the site and via the Telegram channel. So let me show Token Metrics. Okay, so here we have two projects. As mentioned, Crypto Showdown. We're looking at Aave and Unicipher. So if we come here, so Unicipher just launched recently, right? So as a result, we don't have any yearly data yet because it's too new to really predict that far out and give a grade with confidence, but give it some time. But we do have the grade for value investors over the next month or so. And it's a pretty good grade. It's a pretty good grade. So it's last week was 80, 87, 85, 83. So it's slowly declining, but it's still a pretty good grade. As a result, as Bill mentioned, this project has now been listed on some major exchanges. But let's take a look at the price prediction. I think this might be too new for price prediction as well. Yeah, so it's pretty new for price prediction. Looking at this, so we're actually expecting this to go higher, but it basically stopped here, went all the way down, went up. So our models are so essentially learning how this moves. For those who have questions on this, price predictions are based on historical pricing. So we look at historical pricing and then we use that to predict where it's going. This is a rolling price prediction, meaning that it's always updating with every daily close and price. So it's not meant to be kind of like a fixed prediction. It's always rolling and updating. But now if we go to Aave, as Bill mentioned, now Aave, there is no yearly data because Aave had they basically changed their token supply, which messed up everything. So the way we kind of fixed that is we're now only looking at the price of Aave after the new token supply, right? After they had the whole new rebase, basically. But Aave has been pretty good. I mean, actually not good, excellent. Not financial advice, but our AI likes Aave a lot when it comes to the quarterly. So as you see here, the score has been improving from 88 to 95 to 99 yesterday. And now it's basically at a 90. So definitely much, much higher than Unicipher. And even on the monthly score, so here we have an 80 monthly. So this is slightly lower, but if somebody's looking at this as a long-term investor, Aave is the clear-cut winner. If we go to price prediction, looking at this, okay, short-term is basically expecting it to go slightly down, then sideways, basically at around $60 for the next month or so. Now this, as mentioned, this is a different model. This looks purely at the price, at the past price, while the grades are looking at the actual performance metrics, right? So if we go to this page here, okay, looks like we're having an issue there. I'll have to talk to our team about that. I think this coins might be too new. Okay, looks like something broke. We'll have to talk to our dev team. But anyway, for those two projects, going back to Crypto Showdown, Aave, in our opinion, and looking at our data and models, is the project we think will have a better year in 2021. Even though it's been out for some time, as Will mentioned, they're now going to become essentially part of I'll say one of the major catalysts for DeFi 2.0. Aave at this point is known for flash loans, which is huge in crypto. That's a huge use case. We don't really see that going away anytime soon. So definitely worth keeping an eye on. So tell us what you think. Are you bullish on Aave? Are you bullish on NewCipher? Tell us what you think down below, and be sure to join Token Metrics and check out the projects and keep an eye on them. All right. And that's basically it. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next segment. All right. Time for question of the day. Go to menti.com, use the code 4345622. Question of the day: are you buying or selling Bitcoins? All right. So the options are: I hodl Bitcoins, I focus on alts, I'm buying Bitcoins, I'm selling Bitcoins. All right. So tell us what you think. Bill, how about you? Are you buying or selling Bitcoin?
Sir, I'm moving into altcoins. I'm an Ethereum guy. Mm-hmm. Right. We are Altcoin Radio, Altcoin Video. So I like Bitcoin. I like that Bitcoin is how institutions have discovered crypto. One of my themes for 2021 is that once everyone's got their Bitcoin and it's like, okay, here we are. It's a new year. What are we going to do with all this Bitcoin? Well, they're going to get crypto happy. They're going to want to get a return on it in the DeFi system, or they're going to want to diversify their crypto holdings and buy additional altcoins. We've also talked on the show and to our private customers about the period between, say, December and February being, alt season or alt seasonal, or a seasonal positive for alts. So Bitcoin is great. Bitcoin is the place to start. Alts are where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, so actually, I was part of some crypto group, and they're asking, do you hold? Basically, they're asking everyone state how much you have in Bitcoin, ETH, and alts. And I kind of chuckled because I don't own any Bitcoin at the moment. I've had Bitcoin in the past, but for a while I haven't really had Bitcoin. My portfolio, I definitely don't advise this for everyone. This is not financial advice. Right? But I basically have Ethereum and altcoins. That's basically it. So I'm basically doubling down on ETH, because even the altcoins I have are altcoins on Ethereum network, right? ERC20 tokens. And it's definitely not the most balanced portfolio. Now, I have thought about possibly getting WBTC, wrapped Bitcoin, on Ethereum, but I just don't like having different blockchains, different assets, having to custody all of that. It's a hassle. And I don't really like keeping my coins on exchanges, because that's not your keys, not your crypto, right? So to me, everything that's on Ethereum that can be stored with a hardware wallet is basically what I like. So I'm pretty much all in on that. So I'm not selling Bitcoin. I'm not buying Bitcoin at the moment. I might buy some Bitcoin in the future just to get some wrapped Bitcoin and maybe do yield farming with it on Ethereum. But now that I think of it, I'm probably done with Bitcoin. I think if I do ever get Bitcoin in the short term or even long term, it's going to be wrapped Bitcoin. Because why have just Bitcoin when I can have the same thing on Ethereum network, right? But maybe somebody can change my mind. Maybe okay. Trevor says WBTC is so you can use BTC's value in DeFi. Yeah, right. So I feel like there's more opportunity to use wrapped Bitcoin in DeFi than regular Bitcoin, right? But to me, Bitcoin is like a savings account. It's a store of value. But I feel like if you really want to store your value, you can just put that in a stable coin, right? So I feel like Bitcoin is, in a way, is gold. So people want to be conservative, but to still have some upside, right? But I think maybe with me, I'm kind of either it's the home run or stable coins, right? Basically, it's either, because in a way, I feel like Ethereum now is becoming a store of value as well. Obviously, it's not quite on Bitcoin's level, but I feel like it's going to get there down the road. And I still strongly believe that we'll have an Ethereum flippening where Ethereum will surpass Bitcoin in market cap. There was actually a survey done by Electric Capital on developers. And I think, let me see if I can pull that up. The number of developers building on Ethereum was more than Bitcoin. Let me see. Don't quote me on that. Let me see if I can find that. Electric Capital developer report. Okay, all right. Let me share my screen here. Okay, so this is the Electric Capital Developer Report 2020. So here's a summary. Okay, so Bitcoin ecosystem has 70% more developers than it did 3 years ago. 300 plus new developers per month commit to the Ethereum ecosystem. Okay, yeah, so actually let's go full screen with this. Not sure how this is coming out on the live stream. Quality seems to be not so good when I zoom in, but anyway. Okay, all right, so looking at this, so the number of new crypto developers is growing for the first time since 2017, right? But we want to compare Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, so Ethereum monthly active developers has grown 215% in 3 years, right? So we basically have October 31st, 2020, over 2,300 developers on Ethereum. These are monthly active developers. Let me see, right? Monthly active Bitcoin developers, 361. 361, I mean, that's basically 7x more developers on Ethereum than Bitcoin that are active every single month. So when I say that Ethereum eventually, in my opinion, will surpass Bitcoin in market cap, I mean, this to me is a no-brainer. I mean, just look at this, right? Bitcoin had first mover advantage, but developers are building on Ethereum now. This is what people don't want to tell you, right? Look at this, monthly active developers. Bitcoin 361, Ethereum over 2,300, right? If we go to DeFi, almost 1,000, 925 developers on DeFi, right? So I'm long Ethereum over Bitcoin. That's not to say Bitcoin has no use, but I think this is a spaceship that is in orbit and cannot be stopped. So I think eventually it's going to happen. Definitely within the next 5 to 10 years, maybe even earlier. But that's what I'm doing. Do your own research. Bill, any comments or thoughts on that?
Yes. I think this is probably a good opportunity to bring up the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart. Okay, so this one's in a lot of our newsletters. Okay, so Ian just had some really great graphics about, developers and how parabolic it is in terms of them, the numbers of them working on Ethereum. I think the next big move is going to be in Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Like, I don't think Bitcoin is going down, but someone was asking about the idea of the head and shoulders pattern. Okay. Or actually, this could be both if you can tolerate a little on the fly art. This could also be teacup and handle. Okay. So the yellow is the teacup and this is the handle in Ethereum versus Bitcoin. All right. You have to remember something. I mean, to state the obvious, Ethereum hasn't done anything relative to Bitcoin. And if it ever took off and went back to where it was, say, in May of 2018, right? That, Ethereum versus Bitcoin could go from 0.03 to 0.08 or 0.1. Okay. So the upside in Ethereum shows up on multiple charts, right? And going back to the original part of the presentation, I always begin by highlighting how big players are coming to crypto. Now, what I don't do is so I don't create any confusion, deep in my heart, I believe that, they're buying the wrong coin. I'm glad they're in Bitcoin. I'm glad they've discovered it. That's great. But the monster upside, the 1 to 2x, is Ethereum. And if nothing we've said makes sense, try this. Ethereum is money. You can pay for things like art. Crypto world, it's called an NFT. You can buy things with Ethereum. Ethereum is also a technology platform. Not just any technology platform. It's not Snapchat, even though it's worth less than Snapchat on a market cap basis. It's a technology platform for banking, right? I know the B word, scary, but the financial system, the interest rate mechanism of crypto is being built on Ethereum. So it's money, it's technology, it's finance, and most importantly, the SEC has told us a long time ago that Ethereum is not a security, it is currency. So it's like having NASDAQ and the dollar and the euro and the yen and JP Morgan stock all rolled into one. And it's hugely undervalued. And that's the Ethereum report.
Absolutely. So to also add on to that, so I view Bitcoin as digital gold. I think that's kind of the use case everybody views Bitcoin as. But I view Ethereum, it's called a virtual computer or a decentralized computer, but I view Ethereum as the new internet, because everything that's happening with smart contracts and DeFi, we're really creating a new internet, the Web 3, the centralized web. And that's all going to happen on Ethereum right now, because Ethereum is basically a winner's take all, right? Because Ethereum has all the developers building on it. They'll have network effects. They'll have first mover advantage of being the first smart contract platform. And Bitcoin cannot really compete with that. Bitcoin is going to be purely digital gold. Now, I do know there are projects trying to rank dApps on Bitcoin. Actually, one of those projects is Blockstack, a project we do think is pretty solid. I was actually on a panel. I was on Cointelegraph China panel with Munib Ali, the CEO of Blockstack. Had a chance to talk with him. He'll actually be coming onto our show, onto the 100X show, for an interview on the 21st of December. So mark your calendars, 21st of December. He'll be trying to kind of explain to us why he thinks building applications on Bitcoin is something that's possible down the road. So stay tuned for that. Because I see a comment here from Crypto Gamer. Blockstack 2.0 is coming with a new proof of transfer and will change the Bitcoin chain once it launches. Stacking 2.0 lets us take our STX and receive Bitcoin as a reward. Yes, actually, Manibali did mention that. Then we have Joshua who's saying a lot of altcoins are built on Ethereum. Yes, absolutely. David says, yes, ETH is a no-brainer. I agree. What percent of ETH do you have, Ian? I would say it's probably about 40 to 50% of my portfolio is in ETH. Yeah, so our team does keep track of our portfolio, I would say about each quarter on our disclosures page. So if you go to tokenmetrics.com/disclosures, you can check out our portfolio there. We update it basically every 2 to 3 months or so. EH says, who cares about development? No one really cares about development in the Bitcoin network. Stop the splitting. It's no competition. I would say development is everything. Developer activity is everything. Development is innovation. So I mean, because we're basically saying that there's 7 times more innovation happening on Ethereum than there's Bitcoin. Looking at the developer activity. So looking at the math, to me, it's natural to project out that eventually there'll just be so much value being created on Ethereum that eventually it's going to surpass the value of being this digital gold, right? Now, I'm not trying to bash Bitcoin. Bitcoin still is great technology. I'm just saying Ethereum, to me, is really, really undervalued. And that's why I'm very bullish on it. But let us know what you think. Are you bullish on Ethereum? Are you bullish on Bitcoin? Actually, let's go back to the question of the day. Let me exit full screen here. And the answer should not really surprise us based on our audience here, because we are essentially the altcoin network. Right. So number one, winner for are you buying or selling Bitcoins? One, I focus on altcoins. No surprise there. Runner up, I hodl Bitcoin. Okay. Third, I'm buying Bitcoins. Fourth, I'm selling Bitcoin. So basically no sellers. People here are looking for alt season. They're trying to find the next Ethereum, the next Bitcoin. So thank you all for sharing your thoughts. Tell us what you think down below in the comments. Okay, all right. Let's take a question from the Token Metrics forum. So thank you to everyone who's posting questions in the forum. You can go to forum.tokenmetrics.com to submit your questions ahead of time. So the question from the forum, how to dollar cost average with Token Metrics quant indices? Very good question, very good question. All right, so let's go to the indices. So be sure to join Token Metrics if you haven't yet already. We have discounted trials. So let's say, for example, you're doing, so right now, when the market is going sideways, the best indices, for the most part, will always be trader indices. And when the market is in a very big bull run, the best indices will be the value investor indices, because that's where you really capture the rallies. But when the market is going sideways, the trader indices do best, right? So for example, if we go to Uniswap Trader Daily, that's been the best index thus far. And time horizon means this is how often it will rebalance. So this is updating daily, or phrased differently, it's rebalancing every single day. Now, please bear with us. We're still making a few tweaks to the days it updates, so bear with us. But going to this here, right? Basically, every day it's going to rebalance, right? So if you want to dollar cost average, the best thing to do is to look at the time horizon and add new funds during the next rebalancing, right? So if you're going to do a monthly rebalancing, that means you have to rebalance every single month, right? So in this case, on the 31st of December, probably a good time to add new funds. If you're doing a quarterly rebalancing, so every 3 months, every quarter, you'll be adding new funds. I think that's probably the best approach, because you don't want to, I mean, yes, you could do the quarterly or yearly and buy more every single month. So I think it kind of varies based on your time horizon, but in general, I think the typical norm is to add funds either every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks, right? So imagine you're getting paid money at work every 2 weeks, let's say on the 1st and 15th. So every pay period, you take 5-10% or whatever fixed amount from your paycheck and you buy some crypto, right? That's one approach. Bill, anything to add to that in terms of how to dollar cost average with the indices?
Yes, let me bring one up here. So when you look at your indices, right, you're going to discover pretty quick what coins you're going to want based on what our AI is telling you, right? So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. So you're going to use our indices. You may be using a weekly, you may be using a monthly, or you may have used our entire sort of platform to come up with coins that you think are interesting. So what we're looking at here is the daily Coinbase trading portfolio, right? And I think it's interesting to look at this because if you're interested in XRP as a long-term hodl or as a monthly hodl, say, I think it's interesting that XRP just showed up or has been in a Coinbase portfolio for some time. Okay. Bitcoin is obviously a big part of that. Ethereum is also in there. So I think using the shorter term indices, okay, to come up with ideas of when would be a good time, right? So You can put money in every 2 to 4 weeks, okay? But when do you actually do it? When do you buy the coin that you're interested in? Okay, here, I don't know if you can see it, but on the Binance portfolio, I see Tezos, okay? And Polkadot is also here, okay? So when you put your money in to your account every 2 to 4 weeks, if you've used the Token Metrics platform to figure out what coins you want a dollar cost average into, you can use those daily indices, which have been hot, to time, when you want to do it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. All right. So let us know if you have any questions regarding the indices. Let me check in here with the audience. Okay. I miss being able to sort by the highest 30-day price prediction. I would use that all the time. So that's been replaced by the trader grade. The trader grade is basically a combination of price prediction and TA. So I would just sort by the trader grade. That will get you the same, actually even better results. Sukraj. Okay, let me see what other questions we have here. Okay, let me take a look. Okay, somebody says dollar cost averaging is a way to justify your loss. Just wait it out. Well, I mean, dollar cost averaging is for people who are passively investing and trading. Well, I'm saying passively investing in crypto, right? It's not really for active portfolio management. All right. Okay, let's see here. That's basically it. So thank you for asking the question. Tell us what you think in the comments down below. Okay, let's continue the show. Okay, so time for us to get to the AMA. Okay, so let me just close voting. Can I close voting? Okay, I guess not. All right, time to get to the Token Metrics AMA. All right, first question. Please, for your view on CRO and FLM. CRO and FLM and TA short term, thanks. So that's crypto and FLM. Is that Firm Network? Okay, Bill, pull those up. Let me also pull them up here on Token Metrics. Give me 1 second.
Okay, is CRO crypto.com?
Yes, yeah, crypto.com. Okay, I'm pulling this up here on in terms of value investor grade, yearly, not so good. Quarterly is better. Monthly is better. You're not getting any day trader grade. Sorry. Let me okay, why is it showing bro? Okay, that explains that. Okay, there we go. So daily, not so good. So basically on like it for the next month to quarter. All right. So on the monthly, it looks promising. We'll have Bill do the TA on that. Then the other one was FLM. Okay, that we do not have in the system. But Bill.
Okay, let's take a look at let's take a look at CRO. Okay. So when you have something like this that has had like this fall out of bed event, this is a 4-hour chart. So this is December 13th, and we're looking at CRO on a 4-hour chart. We almost have to because of the volatility. Now, a lot of times when people get shocked like this, they sort of freak out and they start selling whatever uptick they can, which it looks like that's what's happening. Okay. And I wouldn't be surprised to see CRO do this, because again, this is the famous sort of altcoin bottoming formation where it makes this sort of rounded bottom. And on the 4-hour chart, this looks like the teacup, okay? And this looks like the possible handle. Now, I know everyone thinks it's very catchy to talk teacup and handle, but the reality is the handle part is awful to trade. The handle is when they're trying to shake everyone out before it moves higher. So this may not have great token metrics grades. This is clearly in a downtrend, okay? But if you like this and you want to take a shot, I would. What's the other symbol?
FLM.
Okay, hang on. All right, I'm looking at this right now, so you're going to get to, I guess, watch me do it live. Okay, so I've seen this before where a market will, obviously this here is everyone giving up, right? That's everyone giving up. This is a 12-hour chart of FLM on December 13th. When I've seen these type of consolidation formations at a bottom, right? In other words, there's an avalanche, it goes up, it goes sideways, it goes up, it goes sideways. It's actually possible that this thing is coiling up to go higher, right? I can see buyers coming in at the bottom of this second block right here. It looks like people are interested in this every time it goes below 20 cents. Let me just label the chart for the video. So again, it's a 12-hour chart. I'm very interested in destroyed altcoins. I'm very interested in anything that goes up and it goes sideways and goes up and goes sideways. So I was showing earlier in VeChain. This actually, you know, fits that bill better. So this looks a little bit better than crypto.com, but I wouldn't be afraid to take a shot either way, right? Follow the token metrics rankings. And, you know, if it either gets really highly ranked, you can go with it in a bull run, or sometimes the rankings can get so low that it's like almost bargain basement. I've noticed both on the trading side. So that's the TA view.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill. So tell us what you think about those two coins down below, and be sure to check them out on tokenmetrics.com. All right. On to the next question. Without thinking much, which coin comes to your mind that can make at least 100x until end of 2021? Okay, the typical 100x question. What coin comes to mind that can 100x? I mean, we've kind of answered this question to death, but I guess this new month, new year. So predictions for 2021, they're pretty much the same. I'm bullish on Helium Network. I think that has the potential to 100x. That's why I've been mining it, as you guys saw earlier in the stream. Outside of that, 2021, I think the large cap coins can 100x as well. I think Ethereum, obviously that has a very low chance, but I still think it's possible because last bull run, Ethereum did 100x, right? Even XRP did 100x. So I think the large cap coins, XRP, Ripple could possibly 100x. Not because I think the big catalyst for 100x would be one, institutions, and two, retail. And I think that's possible with the large caps because let's say all the institutions FOMO into Bitcoin and that trade gets played out. It gets oversaturated. And they then begin looking to Ethereum as the next institutional play, right? Because if DeFi takes off and institutions enter the space, like imagine if a Bitcoin ETF and an Ethereum ETF gets approved, or right? Or imagine if DeFi really blows up and institutions start getting into DeFi. Let's say regulation here in the US with the SEC comes in and they provide a pathway for security tokens and for cryptocurrencies not to be securities. I think that could be a big catalyst. Or let's go to retail interest, retail traders and investors. Let's say PayPal. PayPal right now has Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash, I believe. Let's say PayPal adds XRP, right? Do you know how many people will look at XRP and be like, XRP is 30 cents and Bitcoin is $20,000? Let me get XRP, right? Going back to that newbie disillusion where they think the price is that price and not looking at the actual market cap, because that's what happened last time around with XRP, right? So I think those are the big bets. I do have some P network. So, I mean, that one is very high risk, but has the opportunity for a high reward if they execute right. But that one is basically a lottery ticket, right? So I had that based on the quant grade some time back, but I mean, I did definitely think that's a very, very high risk play, right? Those are the coins that come to mind. Let me see if there are any others. Uniswap, Uni. I mean, I think they're the king of DeFi and king of DEXs. I think that will continue down the road. Bill, how about you?
All right, I'm going to give you an outside the box answer. Okay, something that I haven't really talked much about. Let me just bring up the chart here. Polkadot. So where does Ethereum trade? You know, $400 or $500. You know, Ethereum spent a lot of time around $400. Polkadot right now trades for $450. Can you imagine the fanfare if basically what I would call the second DeFi highway launches and is successful? Okay. I mean, I know there's a lot of people holding this. I know you can stake it and get a really good yield on it, but really Polkadot is something that's only, you know, known by crypto people, I think. Like the big institutions who have just discovered Bitcoin, they'll soon discover Ethereum, but it may be too big of a leap for them to get into Polkadot. So by the time Polkadot comes out on the scene, the wow factor and the institutional money that may have to chase it could drive 100x. Because again, it's at 4 something and ETH was at 4 something before it just obviously totally took off once upon a time, right? This looks like this consolidation reminds me of ETH, say, in 2016.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. So now the question is to our audience. Tell us what you think. What cryptocurrencies do you think can do 100x by the end of 2021? Let us know down in the comments below. Are there any cryptocurrencies we missed on our radar? Okay, all right. We have a super chat here that I would like to address. All right, thank you, Crypto Gamer. So Crypto Gamer's question / statement: we need a degen index or have a filter on the ratings that allow us to bring the market cap and 24-hour volume down to 0. Okay. All right. For example, why didn't the quant system find RFI before it pumped? It had millions in volume. Okay. Let me take a look. I don't think we have RFI in our platform. That's probably why. Let me take a look because RFI. Yeah, RFI is not in the platform. We're in the process of importing coins from CoinGecko, so that should be done by the end of the month. But we have listened to customer feedback and input, and we are working on a degen index. The way it would work is it would basically be an option for you to look at cryptocurrencies, or rather only build indices with coins with a market cap lower than 30 million. So that means anything less than 30 million would only be considered for the index. That's something we're currently developing and testing. We're hoping to have that ready I would say by the end of the month or early next month. So stay tuned. But the DGen index is coming. There will be lots of disclaimers all over because obviously it's super high risk, and a lot of people will get wrecked, right? But we're hoping to be able to build a portfolio that's balanced, that can perform pretty well using our AI and our quant grade. So stay tuned. That is coming. That is in the future roadmap. Then somebody also mentioned what else is in the roadmap. So as mentioned, we have that. We have the DGen index coming. We have the alerts. We were hoping to have that ready this by today for the live stream, but unfortunately our developers are still making a few changes. So it's been pushed back to next week, but by the end of next week, we should have the email and SMS alerts to our customers. That would be the investor plan would have the email alerts, and the professional plan would have the SMS texting alerts. So those are the two main things we're working on. And then the auto import. So auto import, being able to import all 6,000 coins on CoinGecko. So right now we have about 500 on the platform. If we can import 6,000 coins from CoinGecko, give them our quant grade, that is a game changer, right? So for example, let me share my screen here. So for those who are trading, you can see that lots of coins have been moving, right? So for example, if we go to, actually, let me go back to daily. So the biggest movers on the daily updates pretty much every day. I see here Bitcoin, CeeLo. If we go to the weekly, I think people mentioned, which one had Encash? Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, looking at this, I see Aspire had 41%. If we go to the quarterly, okay, quarterly Encash, yeah. I have no idea why this is pumping, but obviously our models are picking up something. So definitely worth keeping an eye on that. But this is not really a long-term hold. P Network, I mentioned I do have. On the yearly, our models are picking up something with Firm Network. Worth keeping an eye on that one. Not sure what's going on there. But I mean, we are testing the DGen index. Then I would say by end of Q1 next year, we're working on launching Tokenmetrics 2.0. This will be a revamped version, rebuilt from the ground up to be more modern with the UI, UX, basically user experience, user interface. We'll also be having a lot more data points, so stay tuned for that. We'll be expanding and looking into other markets, so being able to pull in data from futures markets, from capital markets like the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange, equities, precious metals, macroeconomic indicators. So right now we have about 130, 150 data points we're looking at. And we plan to expand to over 500 easily, and maybe even over 1,000 data points. So all that data being put into the AI, where it can look at, for example, the VIX, and be able to tell you, okay, if this changes, how will this affect this crypto and altcoins and Bitcoin and Ethereum? We think this is going to be a big game changer. So that timeline for that is, I would say, end of Q1 next year, maybe latest early Q2. But that's what's in store with Tokenmetrics. We're always getting feedback and input from our customers. So if you have any feedback, just go to feedback.com/Tokenmetrics and share the feedback over there with us. Will the alerts only be for coins we manually follow, or could you please set up an alert for quant? Yes, so there'll basically be a watch list where you can go and add coins to the watch list and basically configure alerts. So there'll be custom alerts. We're also working on possibly adding a way for us to just have default alerts where we just send you alerts whenever, maybe every week, or via email or via text on the new top coins If that's something everyone likes, that's something we'll add to that. Bill, any comments?
Economics is up for grabs, right? And Token Metrics wants to take non-traditional crypto data, like data that crypto traders normally don't look at, and meld it together so that you can build portfolios and not have to sit around and figure out what actually matters, right? I think we're also coming up with ways to better use the quant grade. Like we're learning how powerful it can be as we watch it live. So there's going to be a Token Metrics 2.0 from a technology perspective. And I also think there's going to be a Token Metrics 2.0 in the human element, right? Where we'll just get better and better as a company in delivering research to you, our customers, and our listeners.
All right, some comments from the chat. Skylar says that import is so exciting. Yeah, we think it's going to be a game changer because nobody's doing that in crypto, where we can import 6,000 coins and new coins as they're coming in, automatically grade them and tell you which ones are good investments, and then build model portfolios using the indices that are diversified. We think that's going to take crypto to the moon and beyond. Very, very pumped for that. It's going to be big. So we probably will have a live stream for that launch. Then there was one other comment I wanted to hear. So Sukraj says, can Tokenmetrics use AI for stonks? That's something that we're looking into, because if we can do this for crypto, we can just turn on the switch, import stock data, and do the same thing. So we'll have the backend and the infrastructure to do it, but right now it's just more a matter of focus. Right now I want to focus and do this right with crypto and basically master crypto. Once we've mastered crypto, then we can segue into stocks. But because at the end of the day, it's just the same data. It's just price data, having our AI look at all the different data points. The only difference is with stocks, there'll be a lot more data and it will be a lot more expensive to get that data. But I think there might be ways for us to minimize those costs, but it's something that I would say maybe that's Tokenmetrics 3.0. Tokenmetrics 2.0, adding more data from other markets and crypto. 3.0 would maybe include us adding stock data, right? But we feel like that could kind of dilute what we're trying to focus on, right? Kind of like with most startups, you first start small, then you expand. So right now we're starting with crypto. We want to dominate crypto, give you guys the best experience, help our customers make money investing and trading in crypto, and then we can add on stocks. And that will really be the holy grail. What's the price for your products? Just go to tokenmetrics.com/pricing. Looks like we have some new people on the stream. Let me just briefly share my screen again. So go to tokenmetrics.com/pricing and subscribe. We have discounted trials available. So you can try the hodler plan for $2, basically investor plan for $5. So hodler plan is $40 a month, investor $100 a month. If you sign up for the annual plan, you get 3 months free. So this becomes $75 a month, or basically one lump sum payment of $900 and $360. But all this is an investment. And then once we add the new auto import, because once we go from having 500 coins to thousands of coins, we'll also change how many tokens you have access to, right? So the hodler plan right now has access to the top 20. We're probably thinking of making this top 100. An investor, we're probably going to make this top 500. And professional will give you access to everything, right? So imagine if we have 6,000 coins, I mean, for basically $360 or $30 a month, you'll have access to the top 100. Right now, this has not been finalized yet, but this is what we're looking at. Timeline for that update would likely be next month, probably in January, I would say, basically in year. But yeah, I mean, we think it's going to be a game changer, being able to automate your research using AI. So definitely stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. Skylar says, I'll be so happy with 500. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the AMA. Thank you for everyone engaging. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, share this video with your friends, get them to watch, get them to subscribe. We're almost reaching 20K, so it'll help us get to 20K subscribers. Mark Teller says, loving Tokenmetrics. I have the investor plan and it's worth every penny. And this is just the beginning phase of what I know will be the greatest value added ecosystem in crypto. Thank you, Mark. Definitely appreciate those kind words.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Back to the AMA. Okay. I think some of these questions, we can't really answer them because it'll be unfair to our customers. So like this question, is there any low cap gem for the next week according to the AI? Yes, go to tokenmetrics.com and check it out. So that one was quick. Bitcoin and Ethereum price predictions for 2021. We've kind of covered this before. Maybe we'll make this quick again. Bill, your predictions for Bitcoin and Ethereum?
Okay, I think Bitcoin goes to 25 or 26K and then falls into a range. I think ETH is going to go to 1,300 by April.
Oh, wow.
Right.
So basically Bitcoin sideways, then Ethereum rally, then possible alt season?
Right. I think alt season starts tonight and extends out until April because, DeFi thrives off the Fed having to push money into the system. And the way I read the world, the Fed's going to have to continue to do that. And that's going to help crypto. Not to mention the fact that, again, heading into next year, it starts a phenomenon on the institutional side where anybody who did not get involved in 2020 will not have an excuse if crypto starts rallying in 2021, right? We call it the pain trade. Like the question isn't what's the price target? The question is what's the pain trade? Then from there, you find the price target. Now, I don't like to spend too much time talking about pain, but in this instance, it's appropriate, right? If you're a large investor, crypto is moving higher and the US heads towards a possible shutdown. If you don't have crypto when it's rallying next year, you're really going to look like you're out of touch, right? I think that's why guys like Dalio are reversing themselves now so that headed into next year, once it gets rolling, I think the amount of institutional money is going to overwhelm any amount of ETH that, say, miners can sell, right? And once they get far enough along with 2.0, it's going to become the obvious trade, the thing that they have to own.
Yeah, I mean, my predictions. So people in the comments are saying my predictions are delusional. I think they're pretty conservative. I mean, so I think the best case for Bitcoin would be Bitcoin to 45 to 50K. But I think I do agree Bitcoin basically going sideways. So basically from 20K to 50K is the range. That's my prediction for Bitcoin for 2021. Ethereum, I think we're going to get to a new all-time high, especially as there's more progress maybe with ETH 2.0. Right now we're in phase 0. So ETH, I think it's going to take 12 to 24 months or so. But I think that's going to be a huge catalyst to get Ethereum past the all-time high, right? So, and then with DeFi happening, I'm just very bullish on Ethereum. So that's basically it for my predictions. Let me just answer a few questions here. Ian, your price predictions show all the coins are dipping down in Christmas. Should we sell now? I mean, we can't tell you what to do with your money. That would be financial advice. All we're doing is giving you research. So definitely look at the research, look at several data points, then come to a conclusion. But I think the indices are a model portfolio, right? So look at them at how they're acting. So whatever time frame you're looking at, if you're trading or investing every month, every quarter, look at those indices and see what they're doing. Now somebody mentioned something, I think it was Sukraj. So he mentioned earlier that the indices are underperforming Bitcoin. I mean, these indices have only been live for, I think, a week and a half or 2 weeks at this point in time, right? It takes time. I mean, you can't really measure the performance of indices, especially those that have altcoins. When Bitcoin is rallying, you basically have to look at this with a longer time horizon, right? But we're very confident in this indices performing well long term, and definitely doing better than Bitcoin and the market. All right, so that's basically it. Tell us what you think. What are your price predictions for Ethereum and Bitcoin? Post them down below. Okay, next question here. Okay, not sure what this is. DRC, did we cover DRC? I don't believe we did. Yeah, we don't have DRC in our platforms. So I think maybe we covered technical analysis on DRC. But if it has low volume, it's basically a pump and dump. So I don't really think that there's any deep analysis needed in that. But we can try if we go to CoinGecko. Okay, sorry, let me just make sure I have this right. Right, so the question is, you guys covered DRC, digital reserve currency, a few weeks ago in technical analysis. It had 9x since then and is showing an unusually low volume and pattern. Please try to explain what is happening. Okay, so DRC. Okay, market cap is over 1,000. Trading volume is, yeah, this is a pump and dump, right? But so no deep analysis. The market cap 1 million, trading volume less under 50K. So there isn't really anything happening, and it's on Uniswap, right? So I would not take this seriously. Maybe Bill could pull up TA, but this is not that deep, in my opinion. Bill, let me know if, I think for this, you might have to go to Dex Tools, I believe, or Coin Trader. I can't hear you, Bill. You're on mute. Did we lose you, Bill?
I got you.
Okay.
Okay. Is it, I have it on Uniswap. Let's see if this is the right screen. 0.00011.
Yes, I think that's the one.
Does that match? You know, with things like this.
Yes, yeah, that's the one.
Okay. So here's how I break these type of coins down, right? There was a square formation here, and there was a triangular formation here, right? And then that's sort of the moon recipe, and it takes off. And then this, you know, this could be a base for another move, or it could just be sort of coin death, because if you look down here, smart money looks to have distributed it in this zone, right? Like all of the volume was basically at the top. So it looks like a lot of people FOMO'd into it and they may be stuck. So it's going to need a new catalyst. Okay. Again, this is DRC. This is a 60-minute chart on December 13th. It's going to need a new catalyst to get going again, right? Because it's not making the triangle formation. It's just sort of sitting there.
All right. Thank you, Bill. So as mentioned, very, very illiquid. Be careful. Not financial advice. All right. Next question. do you think SNX, which is synthetics, can 100x? Derivatives market is huge. I believe so. Disclosure, I do own synthetics, SNX. I'm also staking that on sushi or farming. So bullish on this. Our AI is also bullish on this as well. We've covered this before. It's one of the long-term picks. So if we pull this up here, because the market is huge, and we believe if institutions get into synthetics, into derivatives, synthetics is one of the major cryptocurrencies that could be a catalyst for that new infusion of DeFi 2.0, 3.0, whatever you want to call it. Looking at this, a month ago and a week ago, the score was high. It's now kind of going down, but it's still pretty good. Quarterly is good. Monthly is even better. So things definitely are promising for this. Now, quick update. We'll also be making new changes to how the grades are being updated based on customer feedback. So people have been telling us the grades update too quickly. So we'll smoothen the grades by using moving averages of the grades. We think that will fix the volatility, right? So for example, if you're doing the monthly and the score goes to an 80, then a 62, then an 85. So we'll be switching to a moving average of the grades. Timeline for that is probably, I would say, by the end of the month, but that should smooth out the grades, making it better for people to use the grades. But that's basically what we have on synthetics. Bill, what does the TA tell you? What's the potential for synthetics? Okay. You're on mute again, Bill.
All right, here it comes. Sorry about that. Okay, so with synthetics, this is the stop-start price action that I like before something really takes off. Okay, so DeFi 1.0, synthetics went up a little, and then it went all the way back down again. And now it's rallied from, say, 2 to 5, and it's now sort of hanging around here. Okay. I think the person who asked this question is on exactly the right track. Derivatives, the tokenization of stocks. This is the future expansion in trading in crypto for small players and big players. The synthetics is going to have a role in that, you would assume. And the chart looks really good because, again, it's got this stop, start formation. Elliott wave people refer to that as a series of ones and twos, one waves and two waves. The reason that they're always looking for that stop, start, or one wave and two wave is because all the gratification, okay, the sort of get long and watch it moon, is in that three wave section. So the more times it kind of stops and starts and stops and starts, it has to look a certain way, the greater the likelihood of a major ramp higher.
All right. So now just to kind of be fair, I want to show all the other competing protocols with synthetics. So if we go to DeFiPulse.com, synthetics is basically dominating, right? If we go to derivatives here, they're in first place, 755 million US dollars locked up. Next closest is actually in insurance, Nexus Mutual. Then we have Hedgic here, which is options. Open is options. Erasure is, actually, let me see if I can pull this up here. This looks like a predictions market. Okay, but synthetics is basically dominating everything, right? Now, in terms of where they fit, right now they're top 10 in terms of assets locked up. And Aave is best for lending. Actually, that was a question we'll get to as well. But yeah, I think they're pretty much going to be dominating this for a while. If we go to assets here, yeah, these are basically different protocols. But hey, tell us what you think. Do you think synthetics could do 100x? Do you think they have competition? Where do you think they're going? Tell us what you think down below. And be sure to check out synthetics on tokenmetrics.com and keep tabs on it. All right, back to the AMA. Okay, hi guys. What is the best lending protocol if you have to choose one? Compound, Aave, Cream, or MakerDAO? Okay, all right. So the first option, I would say go to tokenmetrics.com, check out our fundamental, our ratings on each of those projects, right? But on the other hand, we can also go to DeFi Pulse and look at the assets. But here, let's begin with the ratings, right? So if we look at the yearly, let's say you said, actually, let's begin with it. Let's just do monthly, just to keep things simple, right? So you said Aave. Aave has an 80, Compound 74. What was the other one? Cream and MakerDAO. Okay, I don't think we have Cream in here. Actually, we do, 92, and Maker. Okay, so looking at purely just the value investor grades for the next 1 month, we like Cream, followed by Maker, followed by, what was this again? Aave was an 80. And what was the other one? Compound, Aave, Cream. Yeah, so Compound last. So Cream is the one to look into. Now, if we go looking at DeFi and we go to lending, in terms of assets, Maker has 2.6 billion, Compound 1.7, Aave 1.7. So these are close, and Cream. So the quant likes Cream, which does make sense. Looks like Cream has the lower market cap with a lot more upside versus these large cap coins like Maker and Compound. Then it liked Maker though, right? Maker was number 2. If I go to, right, versus Aave. Now this is for somebody who's looking for a short-term investment or trading. Bill, what does the TA look like?
Okay, I'm pulling it up now. Okay, so this is really interesting. This is Cream. This is the futures contract, so not a lot of history.
Yeah, oh man, it fell from a cliff.
Right. It did. And that's what makes it that's what makes it so interesting. Okay, so I'm not sure if it's a perfect teacup and handle type of play, but it sure is interesting that it seems to be making this rounded bottom after falling out of bed, right? And it's really interesting as to what could happen, to momentum, right? Momentum is really oversold in a lot of these coins. And when you've got a washout like this and people are less enthusiastic, this can be a time where all it takes is one turn, okay? And then people start piling in mass. So the idea of crypto, the future of money, the future of tech, and the future of DeFi, this looks good to me. Now, again, this person may be asking more about lending. So just keep in mind, not financial advice. Check our code reviews, definitely read reviews. And I would say stick with the larger players. But in terms of just trading, this is very interesting. Cream daily chart, December 13th.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Yeah, I think that definitely is very promising. Obviously, as Bill mentioned, do your own research, but be sure to leverage tokenmetrics.com as your tool For those who are just tuning in, tokenmetrics.com is a cryptocurrency investment research platform that leverages AI to help you become a smarter investor. Our three main products are our AI crypto indices, AI crypto price predictions, and AI crypto rankings. And be sure to take advantage of that. Okay, all right, let's go on to the next question. Okay, keep the questions coming. I think we probably have maybe about 45 minutes or so or less before we wrap up the show. All right, so next question is about DAOs. Okay, hi. Any thoughts about DAOs? For those who don't know, DAOs are decentralized autonomous organizations. Are you bullish on DAOs? If yes, why? Yes, very, very bullish on DAOs. Basically for one main, okay, I'll say two reasons. The first one, DeFi took off because of DAOs. So especially for blockchain projects here in the US, in America, from a legal standpoint, the pathway forward to not have the SEC come after you, basically, is to make sure your project is fully decentralized. What does that mean? That means that the majority ownership is owned by a community that's not the project. So best case example is Compound. Compound is a American company. They were pretty much the catalyst for DeFi. DeFi 1.0 was started by Compound. Compound was around for about a year or so, but it was managed and actively developed by the community. I mean, by the company Compound. Then they said, you know what? We're now ready to make this decentralized. So they give ownership to a community of early adopters from the team, investors, developers, evangelists, users of the protocol, and they then issued their token, right? So I'm bullish on this because now that people have seen that protocols have to be decentralized for them to really have traction, that's why DeFi has taken off. All these protocols have been decentralized. To do that, the best way forward is to have a governance structure where there's a DAO. Projects like Yearn Finance and others have basically been launching DAOs as ways to govern those protocols. Synthetics, Aave, all these are protocols that are becoming decentralized, and they're creating DAOs where token holders can vote on governance. So, for example, on the last 100x show with Banco Protocol, we talked about how they had a governance. Let me see if I can pull up their governance dashboard because I thought it was pretty cool. Give me 1 second as I pull this up. Because for all these protocols to be decentralized, they'll have to have DAOs. I think that's pretty much becoming the industry standard. So for example, this is Banco Protocol. So if we go here to governance, this is just their forum. But that's not what I wanted. What I wanted is voting. So with all these protocols, they now have what are called improvement proposals, kind of like with Bitcoin and Ethereum, where the community as a whole or stakeholders can delegate through the DAO or the forum what they think should be improved upon the protocol. So in this case, this is what people submit, and the community of stakeholders or token holders votes on what to do. Right, so the community as a whole is governing how these protocols are upgraded, how they're updated, and all that. So as a result of this, I'm very bullish on DAOs because you need DAOs for DeFi, and that's kind of my take. So from a legal standpoint, protocols need to have DAOs, otherwise they could be centralized, which puts them legally at risk. Obviously, we're not attorneys or lawyers, but we've had lots of conversations with them, right? Being in the crypto space. Bill, do you have any comments to add in terms of DAOs?
Yes, big picture, right? Crypto wants to create an environment, and so does the government, where innovation can occur and the ownership structures minimize investors getting hurt, right? So if something is decentralized, in my mind, it decreases the likelihood of some entity going out and hurting the rest of the network. Yes, things can occur, right? We've seen that. But from a legal point of view, it looks like the market has figured out a way to make the government happy, which is why I continue to believe that, DeFi 2.0, if I'm right about that, it could be so exciting, because with the change in the administration, more friendly crypto viewpoints, institutional acceptance, it's really exciting that a legally kosher mechanism has existed for a while. So that allows innovation to explode.
All right. Thank you, Bill. So be sure to go to tokenmetrics.com to check out all that good stuff and tell us what you think about DAOs down below. Okay. All right. Next question. Tokenmetrics was extremely bullish on SNX. Now it's dropped by around 30% on the yearly. What are the factors that can change the prediction so much? Good question. So the factors, so we look at the performance metrics, right? So how well this is performing versus Bitcoin and all other cryptocurrencies in the system. So it's relative, right? And then we look at the data points that matter the most, and we're always testing new data points to see which ones matter. That's part of the AI. It's always looking for ways to improve. So if it finds a new model that's superior than the past model, it will update. The grades at this point in time, they update 3 times a day, about every 8 hours. As mentioned earlier, when the process of switching to using moving averages for the grades, we think that will help with the volatility and make it easier for our customers to trade and invest, especially the day traders. And also the long-term hodlers and investors, because we do know that the grades updating a lot might be too much for everyone. So we plan to smooth that out through moving averages. But the entire premise is we're looking at each coin, and we're also looking at all other coins, right? So in a way, it's factoring in the opportunity cost of being in that coin. Because if you're in this coin, while it may have had a good grade, if there's this other coin that's pumping, that might cause the current grade of this coin, like synthetics, to decrease because you're losing out by not being in that other altcoin that's moving, right? So we're factoring in the opportunity cost and all these other metrics. That's basically what happens at a high level, and the grids are being updated basically multiple times a day. And we do have moving averages that are coming. If you get to the indices factor in not just the grades, we also factor in how diversified is the portfolio. So we'll go through using basically quant methods, trying to build a portfolio that has as little correlation as possible, because you don't want to have a portfolio that's just ERC20 tokens. While that could happen, for example, on Uniswap, but if you're looking at all exchanges, you want to have coins in your portfolio that won't go down when Ethereum goes down, right? So that's why you might see other blockchains like XRP, NEM, if they have good grades, they'll be in there. That's why Waves, our monitors were pretty bullish on that, because that was liquid on several exchanges, had a good grade, and it's not really correlated with Ethereum. If Ether tanks, Waves will not tank as much, right? So it's looking at all these different data points and using them to build the model portfolio. Bill, any comments to add to that?
Yes, I think when you see the quant grades moving around, it may be that the performance metrics have trouble handling like a range, right? Technical analysts, I know myself, the toughest part for a trend follower or a big thinker like me are these choppy range periods. So if you're seeing quant grades move around, it could be because, the market is just chopping around. And that once a trend starts, if it starts, it might be easier to use these grades and there might be less jumping around.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Okay. Next question. Hi, Bill. could you recommend any books or resources to learn more about technical analysis?
Okay. So this is a good question. Let me tell you what I did when I was young. I got this book called Technical Analysis of Futures Markets. It was written by the guy who started, I believe, stockcharts.com. It was one of the original technical analysts. Okay, this book, John Murphy. Okay, I got to take a course with somebody who studied directly underneath him. All right. Now, in many ways, this can be the cure for insomnia. Okay, I got a workbook that came with it. I don't know if it's available. Okay. Now, I'm going to look at one more thing because, candlesticks have become, the standard way to look at markets, but it wasn't always the case. Okay. I took a course. There was 3 people in this course at the New York Institute of Finance in downtown Manhattan with a guy named Steve Nissen. Now, this individual, this is back in like the early 90s, worked with a translator to transcribe the original manuscripts for Japanese candlesticks, and he wrote a book which changed everything, right? Like candlesticks were advanced technical analysis in the late 90s or in the mid 90s. So even though they're everywhere, right, I'm not sure everybody is totally familiar with what they mean. And sometimes I would like to take this book and pick it up and read it every now and then because it is always a refresher. Okay. And I think this is a great place to start because candles are everywhere in crypto.
All right. That's great. That's great, Bill. So I'll also just add one resource that's pretty easy and it's also free. I think if you just go to Investopedia, technical analysis course, I know that's been pretty popular. Let me just see if I can pull that up here. Actually, they have a paid one as well, but we're looking for the free one. Then there's also one called Baby Pips that I know lots of traders have mentioned that. Let me just see if I can pull that up here as well. Because I think lots of people who get into Forex use that course. Don't quote me on that. It should be free, I believe, unless something has changed since I last looked at it. Right. So this is babypips.com. It's mainly for Forex, but I think there's also, TA is TA, right? They go through kind of all the basics. Then the other one I mentioned was, what is this? Okay. I would just Google Investopedia technical analysis, right? So those are 2 free resources that come to mind. And we're also working on creating our own Token Metrics Academy. Stay tuned for that. As we've covered this before, we've actually had Bill go through and write deep dive guides on technical analysis. We also have a video that's in the works. That's about a half hour long, kind of going through the basics of technical analysis. We'll also be doing some exercises, so stay tuned on that. Timeline for that is, I would say, next year. Probably more of middle or later next year, not so much early next year. But be sure to, okay, Bear Metal says very excited for Token Metrics Academy. Absolutely. Justine says, thanks, Bill, about Candlestick book, but do we need any more? We got Token Metrics, Bill and Ian. Yes, I mean, we have the live stream every Sunday and the videos. Demisoft says baby pips was super helpful. That's good. That's good to know. That's good to know. All right. But yeah, that's definitely in the works. So stay tuned. Okay. All right. Let's get back to the AMA. Trying to find some good questions here. Okay, here's a question for Bill that I think will be good. All right. How do you think the Great Economic Reset may impact crypto?
Excellent question. So in March, Americans discovered what a price shock felt like, right? Certain grocery items were not available. Certain food items skyrocketed. Okay. Real estate, home prices skyrocketed as people flooded out of cities. And people have discovered that their dollar doesn't go far, that the fiat currency that they thought they didn't have to think about, because no one in America thinks about foreign exchange because they've got the dollar. Okay. They discovered that this money doesn't work for me in this environment. And when they were introduced to a new form of money, and then PayPal comes in and gives them a way to protect their dollar purchasing power by owning crypto. Now you're like, okay, what does that mean? That means you can put crypto in a PayPal account. If the crypto rises in value, okay, the amount of dollars that you'll have available to use via your PayPal debit card will also rise. And people are figuring out, particularly with the amount of money that's being printed or handed out or not handed out, right? Like these PPE loans that went to large corporations while, hairdressers and small businesses went out of business. This kind of behavior is not escaping the eye of the public, right? The Fed used to be able to print money, and you used to be able to pass tax laws that say favored bigger players, but you can't do that anymore without garnering attention, right? So rather than go out and throw a brick through someone's window because you're upset, there's a way to have a constructive revolution. Like Ray Dalio, who we talked about at the start of the show, the big hedge fund manager, is talking about America is set up the way other countries have been set up to have kind of a civil war or a revolution. I don't disagree with that. I just think the revolution is on Coinbase and Binance and in crypto. So you can vote with your feet and say, you know what? I don't really want this system anymore. I don't want this currency. I want to have it, but I want to have something else too. And then, of course, there's the idea that not only is crypto the future of money, but crypto is also the future of tech investing. Okay? For example, Snow is a software company, cloud computing. What do they own? Software, right? Code. Their way of doing things in the computer world. Okay? They're worth, I believe, 107 billion on the last check. Snapchat is worth 71 billion. Ethereum is 68 billion, and Chainlink is 5 billion. So in altcoins, right, which is, historically it's like I don't know. For us, it's exciting, but outside of crypto, it's like, oh my God, that's the dirty word. Wrong. There's a new reset in altcoins as the future of technology and the future of technology investing. So the Great Reset has, caused a lot of pain and trauma in the world, as you know. But it's also helped people see crypto as a bright, shining light. And I think that continues through the first half of 2021.
All right. Thank you, Bill. That was definitely great. Yeah, so this definitely seems to be like something that's pretty big here. So I haven't been keeping too much tabs on the news, but I've been kind of pulling this up here on Google. So this has been proposed by the World Economic Forum. So they really are trying to reset everything, right? I know this kind of might trigger some conspiracy theories, right, with the whole New World Order here. But they even have a website for this and diagrams and everything on how they can pretty much reset everything. So definitely a thing worth looking into, right? Because this is the site, weforum.org. There's an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of COVID-19. But I mean, I think regardless of what happens, I think everything is bullish for crypto, right? I think we're now living in a post-pandemic world, and people are beginning to realize that not being in crypto, as we mentioned before, is a financial crime. People are losing their purchasing power. And for people to preserve that purchasing power, they have to go into alternative assets. They have to get outside of dollars, because if we go to capital markets, they're just being pumped up. But if you actually denominate them in Bitcoin, they're losing, they're crashing, right? So people are losing purchasing power. So even though it looks like things are going up on paper, what people could buy now versus what they could buy 10 years ago is not the same. And for those who've seen the Michael Saylor interviews, he basically says his company got into Bitcoin because of that, because they're basically losing about 15% purchasing power every single year. So where do you think you'll be in 5 years? I mean, so if a billionaire with $1 billion company can see the future and start putting his corporate treasury into Bitcoin, I mean, I think that means that everybody should be getting into crypto, right? Because we definitely don't want to be the last ones, right? So that's why I think it's very crucial for all of us to tell all our friends to get into crypto. Not telling your friends to get into crypto is a financial crime, because 5 years down the road, when they lose their purchasing power, if you're losing 15% every single year, that's insane. I mean, that's almost getting to zero in 5 years, right? So definitely tell all your friends to get into crypto, and tell all your friends to tune in Sunday, 6 p.m. every Sunday on Tokenmetrics YouTube and podcast and everywhere to get our content, right? There's actually a comment here from Jasim saying, I wish Tokenmetrics will have 100,000 subscribers by 2021. We all work for that. Yes. Thank you, Jasim.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Bill, any comments as well?
Folks, I think an under-discussed topic is crypto as the peaceful revolution. I saw a meme once of, on one side, it was someone being upset because there was a lockdown. And on the other side, it was a crypto trader smiling because crypto traders are famous for staring in front of their screens and devoting a lot of time to their work. Crypto is something that has gone from being something you can make fun of to something you have to have. I was on a panel discussion for some conference last week. And boy, did I give the equities guys the business about crypto and what it means for people to be free from markets that are controlled by central banks, right? Another under-discussed topic, right? Yes, equities do go up because the Fed's buying them. Crypto is more volatile. Yes, crypto is harder, but crypto is a free market, right? And in the Great Reset, the concept of a free market matters, because it's not often you can say that I can go to this place like crypto. I can go here and I can be free, right? You can't run around anymore and say, oh, look, I'm free. It's not a different world. The freedom is in crypto.
Yeah, well said, well said. So question here, Bear Metal says, about the Great Reset, do you hedge part of your crypto against crypto, like with Pax Gold? And is there something else we could use with it that's not tied to fiat, like USDT? Good question. I think you have to kind of hedge all around. So if you notice our indices, they look at, obviously they have Bitcoin, they have crypto, they have stablecoin, and they have Pax Gold. So they're trying to get exposure to all kinds of different assets. And some of them even have exposure to stablecoins for the euro, for the renminbi, and some other currencies, right? So it's hedging all across the board. All right, so tell us what you think about the Great Reset down below. What do you think will happen to crypto? Okay, all right. That was an interesting question. Now let's get back to the show. All right, so trying to see if there's a question here we haven't really covered. Okay, we answered that question. Okay, somebody's asking about Wyckoff analysis. Have you heard of that, Bill?
I have.
You have? Okay, all right.
I have.
Right.
Very, very, very useful, very old school stuff.
Okay, so the question is, what are your thoughts on Wyckoff analysis to see how whales manipulate the crypto market? And B, will there be a crypto crash in April 2021?
Okay, so generally speaking, I study certain disciplines more than others. I think Wyckoff was really useful when looking at the Bitcoin bottom back in early 2019. I do think we are going to see some sort of flash crash in crypto in May. There's a famous saying in equities, sell in May and go away. Now, these sort of sayings have become less relevant because central banks have dominated. But I do think in crypto, there may be this sell in May and go away effect where, if there's a huge 4-month ramp in crypto, DeFi 2.0, instead of lasting 1 month, say it lasts 4 months, and you take your money and you reevaluate at that time.
All right. Thank you, Bill. So if you want more of Bill's analysis, be sure to subscribe to the newsletters to all our customers. So all customers, we have newsletters with Bill once or twice a week. Basically, Bill doing TA and market updates. So if you like his market analysis and videos, you definitely like their newsletter as well. All right, that's called Token Metrics Insights, and that's only to customers. Make sure when you join, you don't unsubscribe by accident. Otherwise, that will take you off the list. So find that at tokenmetrics.com. Okay, all right. Time for us to do some TA. What's your take on Eternity, AE? You had once mentioned that it's a great tech project and low cap gem. All right, so let's take a look at that. Eternity. Looking at it now with the new quant grade. Let's see where it is. Okay, so score at the moment is not so good for the yearly. A month ago it was all right. Okay, quarterly it's liking it now, and monthly it likes where it is now. Now, as mentioned, we'll be working on switching to moving averages to make this a lot easier for people to understand the grades. That way there's less volatility in the grades. So stay tuned for that. That should be finished this month. Now, if we go to the price prediction, let's see what this shows. Yeah, this one is kind of all over the place. It's kind of tough to to predict, unfortunately. But it's kind of expecting a decline here before it. So basically around New Year's, basically end of the month, it will bottom, it thinks, and then will start rising. Bill, what does the TA show on your end?
Okay, pulling it up now. Okay, so I think this is incredibly interesting. It looks like there have been multiple attempts for, AE is doing the whole stop start thing that we talked about earlier, that, the more times it rallies and then comes back and rallies and then comes back, especially if it's making higher lows, I think the probability increases that you could see a moonshot, right? Or at least a big rally. Now, this thing has spiked up a couple times. It looks like, the recent drop really flushed everyone out to where, momentum indicators, if you're seeing this, it's December 13th, it's Sunday. Okay, this has the potential to start a longer term uptrend just based on how it's been moving. Now, whether it's great or not great, fundamentally, I don't know, but I'm really interested because no matter where I go in altcoins, I'm either seeing like the teacup and handle rounded bottom, okay? Or I'm seeing this whole stop start action, right? Which leads me to believe that, really the Bitcoin all-time high, we kind of have to just get it out of the way. And then once that's done and it's on the front page of the New York Times, then we can go to alts.
All right. I like that. Front page of New York Times.
Right.
All right. So tell us what you think about Eternity down below in the comments. Okay, let's take some questions here from the audience in the chat. Okay. What's up, Nate? How are you? Great to see you here on the stream. Nate says, thoughts on regulatory FUD a couple of weeks ago regarding regulatory changes requiring centralized exchanges to abide by the travel rule, mandating KYC on transactions with non-custodial wallets, such as Ledger, MetaMask, etc. So we actually kind of covered this on the last live stream, but we don't think it's good for crypto. I mean, requiring KYC and regulation on non-custodial wallets is going to destroy lots of innovation happening in the crypto space, from DeFi to everybody. I mean, that's why Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, went public with his speculation that this regulation is coming out, right? Because they want to get ahead of it and get the community in the crypto space to back them on this, right? Because this is not good for crypto. This will make it difficult. This will make the onboarding a pain. It will add too much friction. So I don't think it's great for crypto. I think if anything, it will just cause innovation to have to go to other places, right? Whether other regions, other jurisdictions. Because think about this. We're basically building Web3, the future of the internet. This is the biggest innovation since the internet itself. So I don't think a smart country wants to miss out on the next internet. I mean, because just think about that, right? I think Bill mentioned this 2 live streams back that the director of what agency was it?
Right, the DNI, the Director of National Intelligence.
Yeah, said that not being in crypto is a national security emergency, right? I mean, America has issues with China. Imagine if China becomes the blockchain capital of the world. I don't think they would like that, right? So, I mean, I think it's definitely not good. Bill, your thoughts?
All right, so the Director of National Intelligence was sort of interesting in multiple ways. They were actually in the headline urging the SEC to take a pro-crypto stance. Because, from a national security point of view, you don't want to have a financial crisis or a currency crisis that cripples your citizens. Because after all, the primary job of government is to protect the people. Okay, so that's what that group was thinking. In crypto, there's really only one source of FUD left, and it's this, oh my God, there's going to be a regulation. Friends, let me tell you something. governments have bigger problems. You know, they do. They have epic problems. That's why the new Treasury Secretary is a former Fed governor, okay? And a former Fed chairman, Janet Yellen. So I think it's in the interest of the free world to let crypto grow and then handle any excesses that come along rather than just slam the door on it. Just think that's really unlikely because let's face it, crypto can become an engine for economic growth, protect the purchasing power of citizens, and give people investment opportunities, particularly young people, right? Should you cancel student loan debt or should you encourage them to be in crypto so they can pay their student loan debt?
All right. Great words. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill, for that. So tell us what you think down in the comments below. All right. So it's time for us to wrap up the stream. Thank you, crypto family, for tuning in. That was great. Be sure to smash the like buttons, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Some people were saying that they've been trying to get their friends into crypto. I'll say, keep on trying. I don't care if you've been trying for the last 5 years, eventually they'll crack, right? Because as I mentioned before, it's a financial crime not to be in crypto. And I think now is the best time because now there's so much social proof. There's so many cosigns and endorsements of big companies getting into the crypto space. We have Square into crypto. We have PayPal into crypto, Samsung, Facebook, JP Morgan. All these big companies are in crypto. And then so you basically hit them from two sides. You hit them from the first side. All these big companies, are these big companies delusional? Is PayPal delusional to add Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Ethereum? I don't think so. Is Facebook delusional to try to launch some cryptocurrency? I mean, Facebook knows how to make money. Facebook is actually being sued for antitrust because they're making too much money, right? They basically dominate too much. And then the other angle is you're losing your money. I mean, I don't know anybody who likes to lose money, right? So if you can tell them you're losing money on one hand and you can make money on the other hand, this is like the perfect trade or investment of a lifetime. I mean, it becomes a no-brainer because every single year you're losing money. Yes, it may look like you're making money, but if you take out inflation and everything, and if you actually denominate everything in Bitcoin or crypto, you're losing money. So go away from losing money and gravitate towards what can make you money. And maybe somebody's not into making money. That's fine. Just tell them, just don't lose money. Just try to maintain your purchasing power. And you can't do that holding cash. You have to get into other assets. And crypto and Bitcoin is that, right? This is the future of money. So Bill, anything you want to add? Any last words to our crypto family?
Yes. I'm looking at some numbers here showing what is going on with second mortgages. If I can just pull up one last chart. Okay. This chart shows the black line is reflective of the total equity cashed out of people's houses. And the red bar is total second mortgages being issued. Okay, the distress is so incredible out there. Keeping in mind, we're heading for a second lockdown. That people are trying to borrow against their house at rapid rates. Okay, when you see this type of distress, okay, it eventually leads to a moment where someone goes, this financial system doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for the country. So when you see people borrowing money at this rate with this problem with the virus not done yet, you will be helping other people if you help them get into crypto, right? Bring them over to Token Metrics. Come with us. we will help you. So we will help you, you will help your friends. And where else can you go in the world where you can find that type of win-win thinking?
Yeah. So now the question is,
questioning myself if I believe it though. No longer question.
are you a believer? Are you a believer in crypto? If you are, then you have to get other people to believe, because this is the future of money, the future of finance, and all of us are going to the moon and beyond. But as we mentioned before, it makes no sense to go to the moon by ourselves. We have to go with our family, our friends, our loved ones, get everybody onto Noah's Ark. I feel like we should turn that into a meme. Crypto Noah's Ark, right? We got to get everybody here. With that being said, thank you very much, crypto family. And as we like to say, the moon is not the limit, to the moon and beyond. Thank you, everybody. See you
Thank
next
you.
time. Smash the like buttons, subscribe. See you next time.